Hey guys, it's Nija. Welcome back to my channel. So I have gotten a lot of comments on some of my manifestation videos, and instead of people telling me why they are so excited to go after their dream life, why they're so excited to create their dream life, sometimes they want to give their backstory. And usually the backstory is filled up with a lot of limiting beliefs. So we're gonna call this the pivot and shift, because once you see or notice these old stories start to come up, creep up to you, they're going to try and scare you out of the new mindset or the new belief that you've created for yourself. The truth is, the old version of yourself that you used to be is scared of a lot of stuff. You're carrying a lot of baggage, a lot of disappointment, a lot of resentment maybe. The version of yourself that you desire to be is not holding on to all that baggage, I promise you. So sometimes I'll get comments under my manifestation videos saying, Nija, I want to manifest this, but blah, blah, blah. Nija, I want to do this, but blah, blah, blah. I want to do that, but blah, blah, blah. Notice that anytime you put a but at the end of the sentence, I want to manifest this, but I want to do this, but whatever follows the but is highlighting your limiting belief, and it is your duty, your moral obligation to crush whatever comes after the but. Nija, I want to manifest more money, but my boss won't let me. Nija, I want to manifest my dream house, but my credit sucks. Nija, I want to blah, 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 but it's like, okay, when you get to that timeline, there is a version of yourself who got the dream mansion. There's a version of yourself that got the dream husband. There's a version of yourself that got the dream whatever it is you want. The dream car, the dream vacation, whatever. You need to tap into the mind of that version of yourself. And why are we doing that? The current version of yourself that you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. Why? You probably don't have the knowledge or insight that that dream version of yourself has that got them to that point. So what you have to do is work backwards. You have to put yourself into the mental space of the version of yourself that you want to be, and then start working backwards. Okay, so when you have these limiting beliefs, Nija, I want to manifest for more money, but Nija, I want a better job, but Nija, I want this, but you are letting the old story stop you from being and having what you want to have. Why do people do this? I will tell you why. Because the truth is, it is easier to make excuses than it is to actually pursue your success. It is easier to say, I can't be successful because when I was 13 years old, I was bullied. I can't be successful because when I was 10 years old, I was molested. I can't be successful because when I was blah blah blah, I was whatever, right? And it's like, I get it. All that stuff that happened to you is really shitty, and it did help with your character development, but you're right, you are carrying around a hurt or wounded version of yourself. And the truth is, until you heal, until whatever the trauma is gets healed and dissipates, you are going to be dragging around that lifeless carcass of the old version of who you are currently. You're going to keep dragging that version around. There's going to be no space for you to expand into your new version. Okay, so instead of thinking of the reasons why you cannot, the most brilliant minds in the world think about how can I, right? I think it's Robert Kiyosaki who says, millionaires don't say I can't afford it. Millionaires say, how can I afford it? Or people who are well off, they don't say, I can't do this, I can't do that. They say, how can I do that? Meaning that I understand that who I am, what I am right now might not be able to reach that goal, but when I expand myself, when I become that next evolved version, I'm going to be able to have what I want. Okay, so this is the pivot and shift. The pivot and shift is all about personal development, and it's all about mindset. We're mindset hacking, meaning that the mindset that we used to have is probably what got us to the version of ourselves we are right now. When you're ready to expand, you must adopt a new mindset, meaning you must internally become a new person so that you can keep expanding and evolving. Okay, so the pivot and shift is all about when that but comes up, right? Like, oh, I want to buy these groceries because they're going to be good for me, but blah blah blah. I want to, you know, buy my dream house, but blah blah blah. I want to move into this new apartment, but blah blah blah. Whatever comes after the but, remember, this is a limiting belief, because there are no buts in manifestation. It's this and that. It's this and that. It's like, I want this and that. You're like, have a tray, and the universe is like, what do you want to eat? And you're like, universe, I want this and that and that and that. Put it all on my plate, because I don't have to choose, right? Like, you're going into a buffet. Imagine manifesting is like going into this buffet, this universe buffet, and God can give you whatever it is you want, but you have to ask for it. Imagine if you went into the cafeteria and you were like, oh God, I really want that meatloaf, but I can't have it because when I was 14 years old, I had meatloaf before and it made me really sick, so I can't have that, right? Or, oh God, I really want that giant, delicious, succulent chocolate cake, but when I was 10 years old, I went on a diet because I thought it was too fat, so I can't have that delicious chocolate cake. It's like, you can have whatever you want. Stop telling yourself you can't. The reason why you tell yourself you can't is because it's easier to make excuses than it is to expand, than it is to evolve, than it is to level up, okay? You cannot be afraid of your expansion. And I especially don't really love when I talk to somebody, right? And I'm like trying to share my big, audacious goals, right? And they're like, well, first of all, I don't surround myself with people who are naysayers, but I remember there was a time, because I was not fully aligned and embodied in what my visions were, I would try to share my visions with other people to try and get them on board so that they can reassure me like, yeah, that's a good idea, right? And so maybe you've been in this position before where you like are telling somebody about this dream or this goal or this desire you have, and they say, I don't know if you can do that, and this is why you can't do that. You know, that's pretty cool, but you know, it's really hard to do. Have you ever told your dream to somebody and they're like, ooh, it's really hard to do that? Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, but it's really hard to get into that industry. Or, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, but you know what, that is so saturated, everybody does that. Or, oh yeah, that's cool, but you know what, there are a million people who are already doing that. Are you sure? You know, like trying to talk you out of it because they don't see the vision. First of all, stop trying to get other people to see your vision, okay? That is a whole other story within itself. But if we're talking about the pivot and shift, when you hear that but voice pop up in your head, I can't buy that course because blah blah blah, right? You have to think as the version of yourself who already has everything that you want. I'm thinking in the way that my millionaire self thinks. I'm thinking in the way that the version of myself who's already bought the dream house thinks. I'm thinking with the mind of the version of myself who's already married to the partner, right? So when you change your mind, this is the pivot and shift. You notice that your mind is playing out the old story. I can't make more money because I can't do this because I want to do this, but I can't blah blah blah, but, right? You see the limiting belief. And this is a beautiful thing when you see the limiting belief. You want to see the limiting belief. You want to call out the limiting belief. You want to say, I see you. I see you, limiting belief. Okay, you're not gonna stop me from leveling up and from evolving and from expanding. Absolutely not. I see you. Okay, so let's put this into action real quick. Let's say you were at the supermarket and you've told yourself you really want to start buying organic food because you just think, you know what, I don't want any more GMO food, I want organic food, right? And you're pushing your little cart down the supermarket and you see the fruit and the vegetables and you're like, oh my god, it looks so beautiful, delicious, I bet it tastes amazing. And you see the price of the organic food and you see the price of the non-organic food, and of course, you know, the organic food is more because that's just how society is, right? And you're like, ugh, I promised myself I was going to start buying organic food, but this is really expensive, I don't know if I can do this, right? that is the limiting belief creeping up, right? Because your more expanded version of yourself, that millionaire version of yourself, that successful version of yourself, probably became that successful version because you're buying the best quality food for yourself and making your mind work even better, sharper, making your body work even better. You don't even know the benefits associated with upgrading your mindset and stepping into the mind of that millionaire version of yourself who knows that that organic food is going to make you be the best version of yourself that you're going to be. If you let that limiting belief in that moment in time convince you to get the regular food over the organic food, the old self wins, the old identity wins. But to jump into, to quantum leap into the next version of yourself that you want to be, you have to put yourself in the mind of that evolved person and then start physically taking action steps as if you are that more evolved person. This is the pivot and shift. You see the limiting belief, you pivot and you shift instantly. Every single time that it happens, pivot and shift, pivot and shift, pivot and shift, you will quantum leap from the inside out, I promise you. One last limiting belief. Let's say you have the belief that, oh, I can't quit my job because what if I get really broke, really poor, and I lose my house and I have to sleep on the side of the road and I become homeless, blah, 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 right? Like you're just spiraling with why you can't do it, why you can't quit your job. You're spiraling, you're spiraling, you're spiraling. Well, listen. All of your fears, you know, I want to, but all the limiting beliefs that come up after the but is being created, concocted from the current version of who you are. Little do you know that when you put yourself in the mind of that expanded version of yourself who has already quit your job and become a six-figure business owner or whatever it is that version of yourself wants to do, right? That version of yourself already has the game plan and blueprint of what that version of yourself did to not end up in that poor predicament. And so this is when you pivot and shift. You see the limiting beliefs saying that I'm gonna have to work forever because I'm never gonna be able to be an entrepreneur, blah, 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 blah. You see yourself spiraling. You say pivot and shift. I see my limiting belief right there. I see you. I see you. And then you choose to change the belief. You shift the belief instantly, and you need to take action as if you were in the mind of that higher version of yourself, and you will slowly begin to see your life shift. Okay, that is the pivot and shift. This is how you upgrade or shift your identity. You're letting your old identity get in the way of your success. Stop doing that. Stop letting the old version of who you used to be, or stop letting your current version stop you from getting. It's like, you guys, you know, have you seen that meme on like TikTok or on Instagram, and they're like, stop letting your current boyfriend stop you from finding your husband, right? It's like, stop letting your current version stop you from meeting your dream version. Stop letting your current version stop you from being your dream version, right? Cut it out. I really hope that this video was helpful, you guys. This is the pivot and shift. This is how you shift into your new identity so that you can quantum leap when you begin making decisions from that more expanded version of yourself. And it only takes tapping in with the mind, right? Every day you should be aligning to the next version of who you are and start making decisions as if you are that person right now. Because the secret is you become that person by doing the things that that person would do right now on this timeline. Okay guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If this video was helpful, please thumbs up the video, as well as subscribe if you're new to my channel because I post new videos every week. I will see you in my next video. Bye.